I guess my issue is that like we're not even getting one non-major thing. Like they don't have confidence in their B characters. I don't see how they're gonna learn anything from Doomsday or Secret Wars that tell us how to unfold the mutant saga. Why don't they already have a Storm movie announced? Are they going to let Fantastic Four have a sequel? I don't know if they will.
I don't think it's gonna come for a while. But they made it feel like it goes into Doomsday and then we just see them hash out throughout the rest of the MCU as a unit that appears in every Avengers movie or something.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. With confirmation that Marvel Studios has removed its July 2027 release date from its slate, does this studio really have no future for the next 3 years other than the 2 Avengers movies, an X-Men film, and a Spider-Man movie made by another studio? Yes, we're scaling back, and we like that. So is this actually a good thing, or have they overcorrected a little bit? We'll talk about that in this episode of The Sneak Peek.
Yes, where we talk about the future of fandom here at New Rockstars with your hosts, Jessica Clemons and Erik Voss.
Hi, Jessica. It's a big week for us here at New Rockstars. Subscribe to the Witching Hour channel if you haven't already. Some amazing content. Jessica did an amazing analysis of Jennifer's body, but there's a lot of stuff happening or a lot of stuff not happening really in the future. We're in this interesting kind of holding pattern where the Avengers Doomsday marketing is starting to kick in. The Russo brothers had this look hard photo. Who knows really what that means? I had a video breaking it down. But the other kind of smaller headline here is that with this Simpsons movie, the second Simpsons movie coming in July 2023, 2027, that really bumped what we thought was going to be maybe another Marvel release that was going to come between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now it's official. The only Marvel movie that's coming out in 2027, at least as of this taping, is going to be Avengers Secret Wars that comes after Doomsday. There will be Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man movie. And then Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming this summer. That will be an MCU movie. But I think, I was trying to fact check this. It's kind of hard to know, but I think this is now where we are right now in October 2025. It is officially the least we have known about Marvel Studios' future in 16 years.
Oh my goodness.
Since 2009. And I know you're going to be like, well, how do we know what we knew when? Very good question. Really, what we need to look back at is 11 years ago, early October 2014. This was right before Kevin Feige's big historic El Capitan announcement, where basically he outlined everything that would be in the next 5 years, including a 2-part Infinity War movie, a Black Panther movie, a Spider-Man movie, all this stuff. And then in the years after that, Feige would continue to try to recapture that high by going to San Diego Comic-Con and doing the same kind of thing with a giant release date. Now, he's stopped doing that. And there's been a lot of healthy, good reasons why he's been doing that, why he's not doing that anymore. He doesn't want to overpromise and underdeliver anymore. He's been doing less. They're scaling back. They're focusing on what works. And I applaud that restraint. But without telling us really anything, it's kind of left us to wonder, whoa, did you hit the brakes too hard? And now we don't really know what these Avengers movies are. And then just to kind of answer the question here, even before that El Capitan announcement in October of 2014, here's what we did know. We did know that there would be at least 2 more Avengers movies. One would be Avengers Age of Ultron. We knew that would be coming the following year. We knew there would be some other Avengers event that would probably be an Infinity War type event or an Infinity Gauntlet storyline involving Thanos that we knew was going to be the big bad of this franchise. We knew there would be a 3rd Captain America movie. We didn't know it would be Civil War yet, but we knew there would be a 3rd Captain America movie. We knew there would be a 2nd Guardians of the Galaxy movie. James Gunn had probably already written it and began storyboarding it at that point. Obviously, there would be an Ant-Man movie coming that summer, and there were rumors for a Black Panther movie and an MCU Spider-Man movie. Even knowing all that stuff, that's more of a future than what we currently know. All we really know is we have Doomsday and Secret Wars, something that the Russos haven't told us much about other than new mask, same task, 27 of the people in it, and this new look hard photo. Secret Wars, we only have guesses about. The Marvel Studios X-Men movie, we only know the writer and director of it.
Did they say 2028 for Black Panther?
No release date yet. Yeah, so just to be clear with everybody, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming July 31st, 2026. Avengers Doomsday is coming December 18th, 2026. And Avengers Secret Wars is coming December 17th, 2027. And those 3, for many of us, are enough.
Yeah.
But what we were saying is that just comparatively to even the earlier phases of Marvel, Kevin Feige was a bit more ambitious back then. We know an X-Men movie is coming, no release date announced. Black Panther 3 is happening, no release date. Blade maybe happening, no release date. And then Shang-Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3, and then there's rumors of another Deadpool movie with a mutant team up. All of these things could very as easily just be shelved and go to development hell. We have no idea. So I don't know. Is this too unusual? Like, let's talk about the state of Marvel right now. Like, did Marvel overcorrect by scaling back too much?
Well, I think it depends on which I think the answer is really in like the market value for it, which is, I think, encompasses like how much they're using as a budget, and also how much like supply and demand, how much is the world really asking for these many amount of movies while they're also simultaneously making TV shows, and how much they're scaling back because of just Disney as a whole. Disney owns everything now. So they're putting out so many movies that they're just like, you know what, we'll pull back the lever on these ones and put out more 20th Fox ones. So there's that market part that you're kind of like, ooh, are they correcting for this? Or are they just correcting because they want more quality over quantity? And I think in 2014, it was definitely still quality, but they definitely had a lot more and they could do that. Now it's like, do they have the means in which they can just put out 7 movies and then 5 TV shows and do all this? Because if they all kind of don't do as well, are they willing to take that hard hit for like 20 projects versus 1?
Yeah. I think, though, there's a lot on stake on just really only making 2 movies, which Marvel Studios... Let's be clear. Yes, Spider-Man Brand New Day is currently in production, but that is a Sony production. Marvel Studios is only making 2 movies right now and only has like production plans for 2 movies. They're not moving forward on, I mean, they have a script for X-Men, but they haven't cast anything yet. They don't have a production start time yet. They haven't created their production company to start production on that. That's still years away. All these other movies, like Black Panther 3 probably has a script from Coogler, and Denzel's going to be in it. But like nothing else is moving forward on that. And while, again, you could say, well, why do all franchises have to move that fast? Just look at what James Gunn is doing. There's a lot of irons in the fire at DC Studios. And even for the past 3 years, there have been some irons in the fire. And then there will be even more irons in the fire in the months to come. So TV shows and movies.
It seems like, I'm also like, James Gunn is a different guy. I also, when you get to restart the DCU, I'm like, ooh, that's so nice for you. I'm like, you get to just see what sticks. I would love to go back in Marvel to just see what sticks. I would love to go back to the original plans. But I also am like, I wonder if it cost them a lot less to make the series, to make the Marvel television shows and Marvel animation. So like putting out 2 movies, but then putting out 5 Marvel animation and Marvel television shows, it kind of like doesn't break the bank and they're still getting a lot of content out there. It's
a good point. And we should talk about the TV front because we'll learn more at New York Comic Con. I think Brad Winderbaum's going to be there to tell us about the future of Marvel TV and animation. But as of right now, here's all we really know about the 2026 Disney Plus slate for Marvel TV and Marvel animation. Wonder Man is going to be coming at the end of this year in 2025. Then, without release dates as of right now, X-Men 97 Season 2, and there will be a 3rd season, at least a 3rd season coming after that. We'll get a 2nd season of the animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We'll get a 2nd season of Daredevil Born Again, and it's rumored that might be the final season of that. A season of Vision Quest.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, there's a lot of series coming out.
So a lot potentially in 2026, but then beyond that, nothing. So it is very possible that, I mean, there's been rumors of a Hawkeye season 2. I think
as much as like Moon Knight.
Well, more than Moon Knight. I think Jeremy Renner has said like, I'm excited to come back or something like that. But it is possible that like we see an even further scale back on Marvel TV than we've seen on the studio side. So it's kind of like, I get it. James Gunn is in a unique position at DC Studios. He's approaching it differently. But I think compare it to another Disney franchise, Pixar. Pixar is something that has basically been adjusting to the same new normal of Bob Iger saying messages, no thanks, entertainment, yes, please. But Pixar even is still sticking to at least annual release, or maybe 1.5 release. So 1 year with 1 movie, 1 year with 2 movies. And they did at D23 announce their next 5 years. We know what the 2030 Pixar movie is going to be. And Pixar and Marvel Studios, in terms of their structure and their relationship to the Disney corporate, have been parallel. It was Disney's purchase of Pixar in 2005 that really provided the blueprint for their purchase of Marvel in 2009. So I always like to compare those two studios. But now it looks like Marvel might be moving towards the direction of Lucasfilm, a studio that is like a very valuable, important piece of IP, but doesn't necessarily have a clear cinematic release agenda and plan.
Yeah. I think also Pixar benefits from still being a child, like a child service, if that makes sense. I'm very excited for a Toy Story movie to come out, but I can't tell you I saw the last two movies. The Ezekiel?
Elio?
Oh God. See, I didn't even know what his name was.
Elio, and you didn't see Inside Out 2?
No, I did see Inside Out 2. But that's why I'm saying, I'm like, when you benefit off the nostalgia, because Inside Out is still pretty. I saw it when I was in college. I was very excited when I saw it in college. That was over 10 years ago. So of course I'm going to see Inside Out 2, but I don't know Elio, and I don't know the other one. I also did not
Elemental
see.
was
Elemental. No, what was the other one? Or maybe it's coming out next year.
Lightyear.
And I did not see Lightyear, unfortunately.
Wow.
I'm not homophobic. I'm not homophobic.
No, trust me, there's plenty of reasons to have not seen Lightyear other than that.
I don't think they did a great job, and I don't think they did a great job with Elio too promoting these movies as well as they could. I wish they did, because I didn't know about it until like a week before it came out.
Sure, Lightyear was, I saw it, kind of a confusing project.
No!
I think for a lot of people, they're like a Buzz Lightyear spinoff, but it's like the movie that the toy was based on. I'm telling you, I don't think even internally at Pixar they understood it.
On paper, that sounds like a great idea.
I remember seeing that trailer with the David Bowie music and thinking this movie's gonna slap. Like I really had high hopes for it. And then when I saw it, people have seen Lightyear. It's just kind of like it's trying to do a time dilation, interstellar Flight of the Navigator story, but it's like not about Buzz as much as it is like a team that has a mix of some very interesting characters and then a lot of Taika Waititi voice acting. And you're just like kind of like, who is this crew?
Stop it.
Why is it like Buzz learning the power of teamwork on a very dimly lit, ugly side of a planet?
Me supporting it, not even seeing it. I'm like, I will support it forever. I love Toy Story. It's my one Pixar tattoo.
Franchise. Yeah.
But no, I'm like, and also they are gunning for those Academy Awards, which they should, because they will always they always win in my book when it comes to Pixar.
They'll always be a contender.
They'll always be a good contender, and that's why I'm like, they're more about like quality.
Well, and Pixar
they're about quality.
Pixar movies don't have to interconnect in the way that Marvel and Star Wars movies
You can just watch those, which is a very good benefit, which is a great benefit.
I mean, some are sequels, yes, and that's kind of why I think Lightyear got so confusing, is people were asking how it did connect. But like, now they're moving into a direction of sequels. Inside Out 2 was a sequel, but it was like a spiritual thematic sequel, and they did a lot of great work to evolve the character of Riley and how her mind would get even further complex. But now we're getting into like Toy Story 5. And we'll see. That will be a test, because it's like people wanted this to end after Toy Story 3. A lot of people were like, why'd you bring back Toy Story 4?
Because children are going to see it and they're going to love it, just like Lilo and Stitch live action.
Oh,
I was like,
100%,
this is for the children. I stopped watching Toy Story after 4. When Forky got involved, I was like, this isn't for me. I was like, I'm entertained. I'm kind of sad, but I was like, this is my nephew that's with me really likes this movie.
I believe it remains Toy Story 4 might still be Pixar's highest grossing film.
It's a great movie. It's so
Inside
fun.
Out 2. Inside Out 2 beat it, but still, like, that's in the top 3.
It's very fun. I was just like, that's when I was like, oh, it's not for me and like Andy anymore. I was like, and that's probably why I'm not going to watch the 5th one, honestly. Yeah. But Toy Story will always slap.
It's going to be a Jessie story.
No, I can't watch it. My mom cries anytime that song from Toy Story 2 plays.
Somebody loves me, everything.
My mom thinks about the one fight we got in our entire life and thinks about that song and cries because I was obsessed with Jessie.
Jess, is you left her in a box on the side of the road and drove away from your mom.
And who wouldn't?
Linda was just peeking out of that cardboard box.
I said, you get back in there.
When she loved me.
I was spinning with my mom's arms, and then I said, get back in that box, I'm a teenager now. I loved Toy Story 2. I had a Jessie doll immediately when that movie came out. That was the only time I let people call me Jessie in real life. That's not my name. I do not like being called Jessie, but I was the only time.
Now she tells us.
Now I tell you, you guys have never called me Jessie once, I don't think, ever in your lives. But I was obsessed. I had that doll. My brother threw it in a gorilla tank at a zoo, and I had to get another one. Go find him. Go find him. Go find him.
Oh my Gorilla has been taking such good care of Jesse.
No, get back in that box.
You're like, you told the zookeeper you better Harambe that gorilla to get me my
Harambe that
Jesse.
gorilla right fucking now. Right fucking now. I'm not
the
joking.
Gorilla was just doing that.
First off, yeah, at the Portland Zoo, they say we don't Harambe things.
That's not a verb to us, little girl.
Oh god, sorry, this went off the rails.
It
as
totally
most
did.
sneak peeks do. So what were we going back about?
So we'll divert back onto the track. No, yeah. So we're kind of looking at like comparatively how Pixar has managed itself under the Disney rule versus how Marvel Studios is now doing it. I don't think there's a problem with an annual release, but and I also don't have a problem with Kevin Feige not telling us every movie that's going to come out for the next several years. I guess my issue is that like we're not even getting one non-major thing. Like they don't have confidence in their in their B characters.
Well, yeah, that they've been doing that for a minute though. Maybe it is that they're just restructuring everything internally. I mean, I'm not saying they all left, but a lot of people have left, major people in Marvel, and they're probably just trying to figure out where they're going. I think after Thunderbolts, they were actually pleased, so they're just now like, okay, how do we do this? Because I also think I loved Ironheart. Do not get me my words twisted when I say this. I do think they kind of were like, oh, where do we put it? Like on the timeline. And on like, just when it came out, they were just like, where do we put it? Because no one's really talking about this and this right now.
You mean the chronological order playlist on Disney Plus?
Just like, because remember, they shot like so much of it in early 2020 that when it came out now, I bet they were also thinking like, it doesn't like connect. It's in Chicago, away from everything that's happening currently in the MCU during its time in 2025, and then it's about spirit. It's like spirits, witchcraft, the cyborg kind of the mechanical stuff. And I think they were like, this doesn't really entangle with anything else in the MCU right now. It might divert people away. I'm not saying that's 100% the case. We kept saying like, oh, it makes sense for this to come out, and then Vision Quest. Those are two things that are very similar. But I don't think they were thinking that. They were just weren't. Like, because it's also Mephisto. So you're like,
no, the Mephisto kind of spoils it.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell are we like? Where do we put it? So I think they are trying to figure out. I think they like, what was that? The roadie movie. The roadie show.
A War Machine?
Was it Armor Wars? Armor Wars. I think they're starting to be like, okay, maybe we put this here, but we don't know when we want to do this.
Yeah.
And this, because they're still doing the special presentation for Punisher.
They're doing a Punisher special presentation.
Is that this year?
It's going to be 2026. 2026. And I think that's going to connect with Daredevil Born Again and maybe and connect the dots with Brand New Day. I think they just want to work with Bernthal more.
That too.
I think watching Ironheart's ending, it really felt like it could have set up either Vision Quest or Strange Academy, like you were talking. Yeah, to the
I think they're
actress.
not thinking about it, or like they're thinking about like X-Men for sure, 100% first, and then also Doomsday and everybody else that's there, Fantastic Four, and then they're not. They're like, if we have to do another Strange movie, that's gonna be a big money, like or big money, hopefully that they'd get, but big to set up the Strange Academy. Jesus Christ, I can only imagine the smell of the VFX that it would take. that would be an insane thing to show up. Yeah, that's also I know that they're gonna skip what Clea and him were doing in the dark dimension.
Yeah, they're never going to show us
and
that.
that's what I want. I was like, I
want them to skip it?
No, I don't. I want to see what they're doing. I don't want them to just show up in Secret Wars all of a sudden.
They just have a couple scars. Yeah. They got some runes burned onto their necks and
their
stuff.
Their outfits have changed completely. And I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah. They're just wearing jeans.
Yeah, that's how I imagine him now, just wearing jeans and a button up.
I don't think we've ever seen Doctor Strange wear a pair of blue jeans. But could you imagine a nice
what
pair
was he
of dad
wearing when
jeans?
he showed up to Carmitage?
He was wearing like, I don't know, probably cargo pants, right? He was like,
he was in sweats, I think, because he was like so tired and dirty.
He looked like World Traveler to Kathmandu and just like wearing cargo pants and like REI sneakers.
That's true, because he was still rich. It wasn't like he wasn't like broke. He was like, nah, I'm still a doctor.
I still know how to travel comfortably. He was just staying at a really nice Ritz.
Oh,
I think what's most concerning, if anything should be concerning here, I'm a little worried by the fact that it's not that they're only announcing a couple titles because they expect that when those titles come out, they'll have learned some lessons from the marketing and from the release as to what movie should come after it. The two movies that are coming up are Doomsday and Secret Wars that feel like repeats of Endgame in that they're going to be even more climactic to our entire cinematic history of Marvel that includes the X-Men and includes, different versions of Daredevil and Spider-Man and everything. how do you learn lessons from movies like that in terms of what should come next? Like, I don't see how they're going to learn anything from Doomsday or Secret Wars that tell us how to unfold the mutant saga.
No.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is, why don't they already have a Storm movie announced? Why don't they already have like a new Storm?
Do you think it's easier to come up with reasons not to do something than it is to come up with reasons to do something? Do you think they're looking at like what didn't work after Endgame and Infinity War versus what did work afterwards? Because it's very easy to acknowledge like the negatives. I'm sorry to say this as a pessimist, but they're probably going over that and just like, let's avoid all these things. And they're not thinking about like what they should be or like the positives, like making a Storm movie or a Storm series.
Yeah, I think they really are just focusing on making these 2 next movies as good as they can be. And I can't fault them for that. That is the priority of the studio. But what I'm lacking is a sense of vision for what's going to happen, other than like a mutant saga. Great, but they're not even telling us mutant saga that much. They're not talking about it. They seem kind of scared to talk about what their future is beyond Doomsday. We've heard so little about what Secret Wars will be and how that would be different from Doomsday. Like, I remember for Avengers 4, like when we were in 2016, 2017, we had an understanding of what Infinity War, what the part 1 movie would be. But even beyond that, we were speculating, okay, where in the Infinity Gauntlet story, is it going to end with a snap?
Yeah.
Is it going to end with like halfway to the snap or something like that? And then we're like, okay, so part 2 would have to use like different heroes, or they're going to sideline people like Clint and Ant-Man. So like we're kind of doing that for Secret Wars, in that we're thinking, oh, maybe Secret Wars will be entirely set within Battle World. Very cool. I think we can blue sky that perfectly fine. It's just beyond that. It feels like Secret Wars will have to end with whatever Battle World is being completely destroyed and reformed by Franklin Richards into something new. But we have no sense from the studio of what that something new will be other than mutants. And I like a good question I think we can ask. Are they going to let Fantastic Four have a sequel after Secret Wars?
Yeah.
I don't know if they will.
I don't think it's going to come for a while. Especially if they're still planning on trying to do a Strange and Thor thing like that, because those are still movies that take time off the block. Like if they come out with 2 movies a year, those are 2 movies that take a spot of some other movie that could have been made, like Fantastic Four sequel. I'm saying this as someone that genuinely does not want a Thor 5 movie. I think Thor is done.
I'm good
without
no
it. Yeah. I don't want it. And so that's why I'm like, it would be such a long time. And the only reason why I think a lot of us, or especially me, are saying the mutant saga is because that's the only thing that Feige has really said out loud.
Yeah.
Is like that we want to do this. And it makes sense because I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't be itching and giving us a little bit of these breadcrumbs that lead to the X-Men without giving us the actual X-Men. But I don't know. If they did a Fantastic Four, it also can't be about what it was the first time, you know? It can't be the family or that universe. It'd have to be something that affected them that would have to have happened in like Secret Wars or something.
Right, yeah. Or it's like a Fantastic Four, but with Franklin and Valeria.
Oh, it could just be
now as kids, part of the Future Foundation. There's some other kind of like crisis. There's an Annihilus threat. There's maybe it's just a more classic Doctor Doom threat. But if like Doctor Doom is already going to be the key protagonist of Doomsday, are people going to want to see a different version of him that soon? I think we will, but it's like, it depends how soon we're talking. Like, literally, I don't think we're talking about a Fantastic Four sequel until 2029 at the earliest.
It would have to be far.
Yeah.
That, I agree. Also, do you think they would probably take into account what people liked about the Fantastic Four movie and try to not like build entirely off that, but Fantastic Four we all knew. Like, we all know their origin story. That's why we didn't have to go through a lot of mishigash to figure it out. But I think that was very telling for new people that were interested in the Fantastic Four. They're like, oh yeah, I already know what their powers are. I know that they're like people that went to space, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They didn't incorporate too much heavy Marvel homework to Fantastic Four.
No, yeah.
And if they did like a Franklin Richards story, that means they have to have seen Secret War Doomsday. And would that be too much? Like if they did like the future, they would have to incorporate that also, I guess, like into like Spider-Man a little bit, right?
Maybe. Like, I think the way you do the Fantastic Four is you team them up with some other group.
They have to, yes.
Or some other hero.
100%.
Or it could be a spinoff with some of the characters. Like, it's a Human Torch movie, or it's or it's just I don't know if Franklin Richards is going to be a big enough star.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four is still the marquee name. So I guess that is a question. What did we like about Fantastic Four First Steps? I liked a lot about it.
I think it's so different from everybody. It's so hard.
I have trouble pitching a sequel for Fantastic Four because we have Doomsday and Secret Wars that are going to continue the multiversal parts of those stories. So I if you ask me right now, I don't know what a good sequel for Fantastic Four First Steps would be.
That's the hard part too, is that we just expect them to have sequels for their big marquee big marquee characters. So I assume there would be one for Fantastic Four, but they made it feel like it goes into Doomsday. And then we just see them hash out throughout the rest of the MCU as a unit that appears in every Avengers movie or something. Yeah. I can't see a sequel for Fantastic Four First Steps. Not in a bad way. I'm sure they could come up with some idea.
Only because it's going into Doomsday and Secret Wars. Until we know those.
It was set up to do that. Yeah. It was set up to do that. Unless for some reason we fast forward to like 400 years and what's his name has come back and found the planet wherever dimension of space he's in.
Yes, the return of Galactus or something like that. Yeah. That seems to be like the big kind of like cliffhanger potentially, is like Galactus is not killed. But even then, how are you going to scale up Galactus from what he already was?
He just comes back and does the exact same thing.
Yeah, it would be kind of repeating. We could learn more about the Silver Surfer. That's why I think like another cosmic threat like Annihilus would be kind of interesting if you want to bring back Kang. Kang is someone...
I would give you a sequel for that. If you brought a version of Kang back, I think that's a sequel. I think that's a good sequel.
You would do a crazy kind of futurist time travel story where it explores Reed and Franklin's relationship with their lineage. But then you almost remove Johnny and Ben from it if like it's just about the family tree of the Richards family.
I mean... In the most respectful way, that's kind of how it felt in Fantastic Four First Steps. It felt like it was like, motherhood, family, and then the boys were just the boys.
Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey.
Yeah, it did feel like that. I was like, I feel like you had to give Johnny the purpose of finding out the language, and you had to give Ben a love interest.
What do we give Ben?
I said a love interest that I did not understand or need.
Poor Ben got nothing to do in that movie.
He got
some stuff.
He got to talk to Natasha Lyonne twice.
He was fun to watch in the battle scenes. I loved him like cannonballing back and saying it's clobbering time. Very fun.
It sucks that he literally is like the grandpa of the group, like the sweet grandpa. He was always there overseeing every part of everything, whether it was food or just the engineering or mechanical part of the ship. And I was like, yeah, he's purposeful. We need him. And storyline wise, I was like, I'm more intrigued by the other things that are going on.
That's why I'm buying these rumors that you're going to have Ben Grimm, the Thing, teaming up with Red Guardian, Alexei, that these two will be just like a match made in heaven in Doomsday and Secret Wars. And maybe that's why they save some of the stuff, including like Reed stretching a whole lot. That seems to be something they're saving for Doomsday. But other than that, like, I can see how you split apart this group, but this foursome, this family dynamic, now that there's a 5 in there and will be a 6 in there, like, I don't right now until we've seen Secret Wars, maybe at least by Doomsday they'll start taking some pitches from Shackman or other people and like, okay, we'll tell you what happens in Secret Wars, but basically you're gonna have, Franklin Richards is gonna go and then we'll make 838 kind of the main, like, a version of 838 or 828 rather.
If they wait till like 2029, it feels like that's too late. But then it also is like, we don't have time. You guys clearly don't have time. There's nothing, like, there's 2 movies a year and there's like a full queue. There's a full queue of things that are supposed to be coming out.
Yeah.
With no dates.
Yeah, and at this point, like, Fantastic Four did pretty good at the box office, but it didn't do great. And if this movie made like 750 million worldwide, 800 million worldwide, then we'd be talking about, there's a sequel coming. But until then, like, it just made like a barely over 500 million. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's possible we might not get a sequel.
That's why I wouldn't be upset. Also, they could do a sequel to Thunderbolts and then just call it an Avengers movie.
See, I don't think they'll do a sequel to Thunderbolts. That movie
they don't want to do Thunderbolts and Brave New World and make it an Avengers movie?
But I think what you'll see is Avengers versus something. Like, you might get...
that makes sense. There you go. You can get Avengers
versus X-Men is what seems to be what Doomsday is. In fact, a lot of people are looking at that Doomsday Look Hard photo and just assuming it means Avengers versus X-Men. My theory is that's not news enough. We know that it's going to be kind of an Avengers versus X-Men in a certain sense because we know that Pedro Pascal is going to be fighting Nightcrawler. We know these characters are going to be in conflict, but the movie will not be called that. So that's why I think it's like they were announcing Wolverine or something with that. That's what I think. Did you have any other takes? That was my big swing.
On the photo?
On the photo. Do you think the whole thing is stupid?
When I first saw it, which I wasn't thinking too deep, I just thought they were like, it was a picture of Russo on set.
It is.
Right?
But they said they just look hard. So what does
at him?
Yeah, that was their caption. And
I thought it was like, look at him. Like, oh, it's LaRusso, not like so. Like, look at me.
See, I thought it was like, obviously they were just calling back the 2018 thing that they did for Endgame, which they also said look hard at. And we did. And we saw A and we saw E in the shapes of the ladders and stuff. Now it's like, if we know the movie's already called Doomsday, what are we looking hard to figure out? And so that was my thinking, well, maybe they're confirming that Hugh Jackman is actually going to be in this movie as Wolverine, and that the spotlight in the photo was pointed at 3 vertical lines that looked like claws.
Oh, that look like claws.
But that's, I'll admit, as dumb of a take as anything else that's out there. So if you have other takes, viewers, I'm happy to hear them. I just think it would have to be something more than Avengers versus X-Men. If you see an X shape on anything, I don't think that's enough of a scoop that they would post that photo to get us to guess at. Or it just means nothing. And that I'm willing to concede that it could just mean nothing. And they were feeling nostalgic for when people still were excited to see what they had to do.
You know, it'd be annoying if someone's just in the shadows.
Oh, it's just
it's someone standing like in the darkness.
Just Pennywise in the bag, or it's Drax.
Because also
Drax
they
slowly
can't
eating a bag of chips.
Maybe they have more freedom to like make those teases back in the day, unless like
Beetlejuice is in the background.
Like it has to, because okay. Also, looking at the photo, you have to look at what parts are staged and which parts you can't move. Like I'm sure these entire bars you can't move. They're not moving it for the photo.
On the other side of those bars is like a set.
Yeah, you can't move those.
But that spotlight they positioned.
You could, I was like, you could position that spotlight.
Because you would have no reason to point that spotlight at that part.
You can position that spotlight.
They told some gaffer.
These are 100%. The part, I'm pointing like you guys can see it. The part that, I think these are just the blackouts, the curtains, or maybe they're, whatever these dark shadow squares are, those are positioned.
You wouldn't have positioned it that way for a shot for any reason. They just did it for this photo. But that curved wall in the background. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the entire movie's going to be green screened or blue screen, just like, Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith was.
Well, some was shot outside. We saw it.
Yeah, we know, we've seen other pieces of sets. And I think that curved wall is just like the backdrop behind other set pieces that they built on that soundstage.
Yeah, it's just a full set. What sets are usually like that. And I can't say what set was, but like they're built like that. And that way you can block out anytime and you can key anytime.
Can't say or won't say.
I could. I don't think
Jess
it's that big of a deal.
knows secrets about future big
I've just
movies.
been on sets as a little baby PA, or just I was wandering. When I worked on the CBS lot, I would wander in the sets all the time, and then they'd be like, "You gotta go. You can't be here."
Oh, I did too. I worked on the CBS lot and wandered onto the Brooklyn Nine-Nine set.
That one's fun because I didn't get good ones. We've talked about this before. I got like that donut. The donut.
Oh yeah.
It was, I forgot. I think Katie Seagal was in it, and then they had like an airplane kind of show, and I was like, and the guy was like, "Get out of here."
That's kind of the secret. If you work on a studio lot, if you walk with confidence, and if you carry a walkie in your hand, you can walk into any set.
That is true.
People will assume you're a day player.
Wasn't that the rumor of how the guy got the photos on set for Marvel? He walked on like he was just kind of like a Kubrick.
I'm not sure exactly which one you're talking about, but there was a guy who hopped a fence.
He hopped the fence.
Guy trespassed. He would definitely was
it's trespassing if I'm just walking on there with a like
but if you already have a badge to work on the lot on another production, if you just wander,
I think it's still trespassing the set even if you work there.
They should have had tighter security at that point. Because if you have a badge, it means that you're not a complete crazy. Although I worked and myself was a psycho.
No, there's crazy people that have the badges that go to places.
Sure, but then it's their own fault for giving you a badge.
So how does Zack Snyder get his footage again? Because he was not supposed to be there, and he got his footage.
Yeah, well, he's also Zack Snyder. He's the guy who made the Legends of Ga'Hoole.
Shut the hell up.
The owls.
But that would also be me. I'd be like, "Oh, Zack, yeah, come on in." I would give him the hard drive too. I would have been like, "Yeah, whatever."
Zack Snyder, you're allowed to do whatever you want, because I went to a restaurant where they're like, "Hey, the broth you're drinking out of is a bowl made by Zack Snyder." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Look at the ZS." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "He comes here all the time and he loves pottery, and so he made all of our bowls."
Celebs with hobbies is the funniest shit. Also, Zack Snyder is probably one of the easiest people to see in LA if you really want to come to Burbank. I go to the REI in Burbank and he is always there. Yeah. And I guess his hobby is pottery and hiking, because he's always looking at the shoes.
I used to live on Moore Park in Studio City. I don't live there anymore, stalkers. Come find me. But I was outside of my building and I saw someone jogging past. I'm like, I think that's Snyder. And then he looked at me and did one of these like, and then just kept running. I'm like, "You've seen a new Rockstars video, Zack Snyder.
You've seen them.
Not sorry for what I said."
Oh my God. If Zack Snyder is listening, I say, and I stand on it today, No,
You coward! You backed down so fast. And I stand on it today.
Let's move on.
I don't know what you're gonna say, but I love to imagine.
What is it? It's oh my god, I used to watch. No, I don't even know, dude. I don't know. It's kind of bad. It's not. It's more of like a guilty pleasure that you like. Zack Snyder would be like, oh, thanks for watching. You would be embarrassed to hear it from me. What's that fucking movie with the girls that are
Sucker Punch?
Sucker Punch. I loved Sucker Punch when I was a child when it came out. That was the first movie I saw with Oscar Isaac. I was in love with him. I was in love with the movie. I thought it was badass. Rewatch it today. Yeah, it's a little too much.
It's a bit much. Ooh, that's a fun game. What was your first Oscar Isaac movie? Because
Mine was Sucker Punch.
We all saw Oscar Isaac in roles, but didn't realize we were seeing him. I think for me, it might have been Ex Machina, but I'm pretty sure I saw him before that.
You've seen him before that.
That's why, because I always thought it was...
probably seen, yeah, you've seen him before, before that.
I must have. It's just in my mind, that was the first time I looked up who this really cool actor was, and I was like, oh, Oscar Isaac.
I immediately had a crush on him, and he wasn't even, like, he was just Oscar Isaac. He had, like, a mustache. He was just so pretty, and I was, like, obsessed. Yeah, I was like, you definitely.
He's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man.
Let's see.
God, he's so fine.
Filmography.
He's been in everything, because I always forget that there's, like, people that did literally everything at the beginning of their careers, and then they became like very good.
I didn't see his plays.
Yeah, you did. You never seen him? You never seen his plays?
So you're right. His first on-screen role was Sucker Punch.
Was it really?
Yeah. So I think
that
you
was
saw
so.
it.
Oh, that's insane. That was his first thing. And the thing is,
it's breakthrough.
You can kind of tell.
Oh, he was in The Bourne Legacy, but that was like the fourth Bourne. That doesn't count.
Wow, his career isn't that old.
Yeah, he just got Inside Llewyn Davis. That was like the same year as Ex Machina, I feel like.
Maybe he was just on stage the entire time before.
Yeah, he was like a stage actor.
He probably did one episode of Law and Order SVU, as they do.
Yeah, I'm sure he was in that. Yeah. Sorry. This is a very, very important tangent we're on.
Where is Oscar Isaac?
Right. So that weird 2010 Robin Hood
movie.
Oh,
I remember that movie.
No one remembers that, you liar.
I do remember it. Because it was after that one I went and saw the bad one with Jamie Foxx.
Look at that. Law and Order Criminal Intent.
I knew it. Oh, well, that's Criminal Intent. That's Criminal
New
Intent.
York-based actors
and no one was watching Criminal Intent.
No one watched that one. It got too intense. I mean, D'Onofrio was just like pushing it. Wait, was he in that one? Yeah.
Yeah, D'Onofrio's that one. It was just not as fun. And then I rewatched as an adult Law and Order SVU, and it's horrible. How was I a child? Like, how were we young watching that? It's horrible. I skip every episode that's child violence, and it's maybe every episode. I can't watch it as an adult. Law and Order SVU is really hard to go back to. So just keep that in mind if you guys are interested in watching on Hulu like I was. I literally skipped every episode. They're all bad.
Well, let us know in the comments below whether we're being now the annoying nerd of saying you scaled back too much, Marvel, after we told you to scale back. But if you are just at least curious about like comparing them to Pixar and to DC Studios, could they be doing a little bit more to show us their cards, or at least what they're most excited about for their future, and maybe give some specific mutants that they want to build their movies around? This week on New Rockstars, again, gotta subscribe to the Witching Hour. Jessica's analysis of Jennifer's body is just one of the coolest videos ever. And the upcoming Wednesday, October 8th, you'll be able to see Gina's analysis of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I know a lot of you are watching that this month. This is the video you need to watch on that. Currently on the channel is our breakdown of Predator, 1987's Predator. And then you'll be able to see our breakdown of Predator 2, starring Danny Glover, coming this Friday. I loved revisiting Predator 2 more than I thought I would.
Yeah, you talked about it this morning. Yeah, you were obsessed with it.
It begins horribly violent and pretty problematic, and then by the end becomes a very good sci-fi.
That's sad that the first 40 minutes will throw you off, and then you're like, wait a minute, hold on there, everybody, hold on.
It's pretty insane. Jessica's been covering Gen V for us every Wednesday on the New Rockstars channel. You'll be able to see her breakdown of Gen V episode 6 this Wednesday. And then Peacemaker's season 2 finale will be coming this week. So you'll be able to see our breakdown of it on Saturday. You got to wait a day later because we don't get screeners anymore. And, you know, we aren't up in the middle of the night writing these anymore. So, yes, I spend the day Friday writing it, and our editors start editing it, and then it's done by Saturday morning, generally. So that's why you should subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network. But let's close out with what
we're watching.
What are you watching?
Dude, I'm watching Haunted Hotel on Netflix. That show is so funny. Oh my God. I think this was Matt Roller created it, who is a writer for Rick and Morty. And you can feel that Rick and Morty essence in there of those creatures being disgusting and ghosts. But it is so fun. And it has every comedian in Hollywood in it. Like as a voice actor, like Kumail's in it. The main one of my favorite characters is a character named Abaddon, who's a demon that's in the body of a Victorian child, and it's played by the McPoyle. What's the blonde? Jimmy Simpson, and he's so fun. It's so fun. Will Forte's the brother. Everybody's in this damn show. It's so funny. Everybody should go watch it on Netflix. It's only like 25-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes, and it's like it feels like a Fox animated show.
How has Jimmy Simpson not have a huger career? He was in Westworld and he was great in it.
Kind of.
He was in USS McAllister.
I don't agree with what I'm about to say, but it feels like to me he is like Will Forte, where the people that know him, and we do. And we recognize his work, and I will always scream for him. But other people that aren't really in it are like, oh yeah, that's the guy that was in that one movie.
But the fact that like everyone else who is in Zodiac, even in smaller roles, gets to have a huge career after Zodiac, and Jimmy Simpson playing the survivor who identifies him at the end of the movie. Like, I think he should have a superhero role under his belt.
I think he's got I think he's doing what he wants, maybe a little bit, but I also think my boy, I referred to him as the McPoyle brother. And I think a lot of people refer to him as the McPoyle brother because of what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
also does. Iconic. He's also iconic in that.
Didn't, what's his name? Costanza also talk about like, it was really hard for me to get roles after Pete.
Yeah. But Jason Alexander, you're sitting good on your residuals.
Jason Alexander's fine. But I'm like, I call him the McPoyle. And like in the comments for Abaddon, he did like a cover of Soda Pop from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Or no, he did Your Idol. And it was just really fun. And everyone was like, I didn't know he's voiced by the McPoyle brother. And I was like, see, that's the first thing people think about when they see this poor man. What are you watching?
Oh, well, of course, Survivor. Season 40. I'm watching 2 seasons of Survivor at the same time.
Insane.
I'm about to finish season 44. And then I'm watching weekly new episodes of season 49. And it's so weird because now season 49 feels like I'm in a time-dilated, slow reality where I'm like, I gotta wait 7 days before I see another tribal council.
God forbid.
Trust me, I've spent the past year watching nothing but Survivor in our downtime. Well, that plus all the cool stuff I'm covering for New Rockstars, but that's been kind of like my downtime show, and it's weird. I've gotten used to like, 2 or 3 episodes a night. Now I'm like 1 per week, and I'm savoring the details more. So season 49, pretty decent cast. Nate Moore, Marvel Studios producer.
How's he doing?
As of when we're taping this, I've not seen the second episode of season 49, but so far as of episode 1, doing pretty good. He's in a pretty good power alliance and one of the lesser tribes though, because like the tribe he's on has a bunch of interesting characters, including one who might be the breakout Carolyn if you watch Survivor, kind of a Carolyn-esque figure of a goofball who gets a lot of confessional time, named Rizzo or Rizgod. Come on the show, Rizgod.
Good for her.
It's a guy.
Oh, good for them.
He's a young Albanian man, or he's an Albanian American man who was like the first of his family to go to college, and he's a big game bot and a big nerd, and I really do enjoy watching him.
When you said Rizzo, I thought of Grease, so I immediately thought it was a woman. But good for you, Rizzo.
There are worse things he could do. But Nate Moore is good. There's a couple.
Do people know that he's Nate Moore?
As of episode 1, he said that he's a movie and TV producer and didn't say that he's attached to Marvel.
They are so lucky I am not there.
I know.
And it's not because I know him, it's because I would be pressing. Because I'd be like, short films? How big is the budget?
Yeah, because that's what he said. I've been doing short
franchises?
Yeah, because he said he was a PA on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
That little bitch. I'm going to believe that.
If I worked in the industry, I would immediately go, then you're much older than however old you were in 2004. But what else have you been working on?
But that's the thing is, like, I'd imagine that he's just one of us that have been here for a very long time that have just like climbed the ladder to be a producer, like just being like a producer. And I'd be like, oh, great. Yeah, there's a lot of producers in film. I didn't know it was for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you motherfucker. Like, that's crazy. You did Black Panther?
One of the top 10 probably most important producers in this industry.
Have you been to the Academy Awards? Your movies have been nominated for Academy Awards? Like, that's when I'm like, Nate, you're hiding? Look, okay, sorry, keep going. I'm Nate. I'm here for you. I love you. I'm just like, Okay.
Compared to other seasons from this era, I will say overall this cast, I just haven't gotten to know them yet.
Okay.
There's been some outspoken people that I find interesting. Some people who are just kind of poverty repeats, not that interesting. And then there's some people that I just find to be very frustrating that I just don't really particularly like.
You're only a couple episodes in, so maybe they'll change.
We'll see. And there are plenty of people who just haven't gotten much screen time at all that I'm sure I'll get to know. But we have a new show. If you listen to the sneak peek and get these little Survivor dishes from me, I'll continue to do them here on the sneak peek. But if you want a fuller Survivor conversation, we have a new show on in our underground audio feed called The Rockstars Have Spoken, where it's me and John and Abby kind of reacting to every episode and getting into our theories of who's going to make it emerge, who's going to make it to the final three, who's going to win, and just kind of covering all the highlights in the episode. And here's a sample from this week's episode. Spoilers for season 49, episode 2. Vibes, fire, cinema is the reason Nate Moore parted ways with Marvel Studios was because he had no idea what these terms meant to the audiences he was trying to sell his movies to. This is The Rockstars Have Spoken, a Survivor season 49 after show. We are recapping season 49, episode 2, titled Cinema, from the new Rockstars YouTube channel. We are Eric, Voss, Abby Friel, and John Costa. Hi, John. Hi, Abby.
Hello.
Hello. We're back.
Let's do our Nate Moore corner, or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, I was surprised that the foursome of Nate, Rizzo, Savannah, and Shannon seem as locked in as they do, right? Like Savannah and Shannon sort of butted heads in not in person, but in confessionals last week, and Nate and Rizzo shared a nice moment in this episode that was sort of a surprise to me. Rizzo saying how much he loved getting a hug from Nate was pretty cute.
That was cute.
And I think Nate is doing a really good job of trying to assimilate to this group of younger people that he maybe doesn't connect to, because in his confessional, it did seem like he was getting tired of this woke crab.
They took it so seriously.
When
no
Shannon
one
was
made
praying
fun of her.
over the crab, I was like, if I were Nate, I would be rolling my eyes so hard right now.
Well, I just wouldn't be closing my eyes. There was a one moment where they're all closing their eyes, and that crab is like, "Here's my chance."
I'm getting out.
He got close.
That was a juicy crab.
There's a lot of meat on that.
That was a fire
bone.
crab.
It was a fire crab.
So if you liked that, you can get more episodes by subscribing to In Our Underground by the link in the description of this video. Thank you for supporting us that way if you are able to do it. But that's it for this episode of The Sneak Peek. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Or Jessie, as she now wants to be
No,
called.
I don't go by Jessie. Do not throw my toy into the gorilla tank. And I didn't watch Lightyear because it was too late, not because I'm homophobic. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's those three things.
That's it. Thank you so much to Brian Kim for producing and editing this episode. Subscribe to all of the channels, including The Witching Hour, all the channels in the New Rockstars network, and comment down below with what you want to hear most from Marvel and whether you care about Survivor. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.